Hello, welcome to Mind class. Today we are going to be doing Mind on the floor. So we are going to be doing some kneeling. If you have something like pads for your knees or maybe a rolled up towel or a pillow, you're welcome to get that out. We are going to be starting on the floor, on our mat, on our knees. I need to change one setting over here for a second because I can hear my voice. You can tell I'm cold. I'm definitely not feeling well. Definitely not feeling well. To be quite honest, if this wasn't Mind class today, I probably would have just put on a replay for you because my head feels like a balloon. So if I sound different, if my energy levels are lower, that is why. I'm going to be really serious and focused today, and it's not just because of the workout, it's because of my head. So I can't hear very well, and I've got like the balloon cloud feeling, dizzy, lightheaded. And so if we were doing anything but this class, I probably would not be doing it with you today. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it's better by tomorrow, but our whole family, except for my husband, has now got this head cold, and it's the summer, and it stinks, and I don't get sick often at all. And I kind of pride myself on it, so it's like making me extra crappy. I don't like it. At any rate, that's my rant about me. Let's go ahead and focus on us doing this class. We're going to start on our knees. You can play any music that you want, something soft and calm, because like I said, I'm going to be pretty quiet today. So if you want something to distract you, please put on some music. I'm going to put these about hip width apart for my knees, and then go ahead and meet me down on the mat. I'm going to start a timer, and we will begin. You'll hear beeps. That just means we're kind of transitioning through each piece of this warm-up and workout. Okay, so we're going to go through the warm-up, and then we're going to do mobility, stability, and flexibility all on the floor. Okay, so everything that we do today is going to be on the floor. Some of it's new, some of it's you've done it, some of it you have done before. Let's start kneeling, shoulders stacked over the hips, over the knees, and you're going to curl your toes under in the back to give you some balance. And then hands out to the side of either your temples, your ears, or your forehead. Okay, so mine are right behind my ears. We're going to take a nice little fold forward. My butt hinges back just a little. It's a fold forward from a kneeling position, and I'm not going very far down. I can't go very far down, to be quite honest. I'm just going as far as my body allows me. Bow and rise. Just like if you were bowing to the sun, woo, and if you fall forward like that, I'm telling you, I have no balance, or like my equilibrium is just off today, so excuse me if I fall over today. All right, and this is why I said keep your toes curled under in the back. If they're pointed, I don't know that you'll be able to keep your balance very well, so make sure those are, okay, ready, set, open up your chest. Squeeze your shoulder blades together in the back, open your chest, come to prayer, and we're going to rotate and rotate. Open up your chest, big chest opener, come back to the center, and then rotate and rotate. That's our pattern. If you want to stay on the rotation, if you want to stay on the chest opener, go ahead. Find your own pace. You don't have to work as slow as I am. You can go slower, go faster. I was hoping this would loosen everything up. It makes this go away for me. Wishful thinking. We're going to stay in our kneeling position, and we're taking side bends. It's the same thing we've done side bends before, where you drape your fingers towards your knee, open your oblique, come back to center, and you can just graze right down your thigh. Slide right down your thigh, come back to neutral, and then go to the other side. Make sure you're nice and tall through your spine. You've got your knees stacked under your hips, and your hips stacked underneath your shoulders. We're tall through this posture today. Feels really good. Not only is stretching out my obliques, but I'm getting some of my hip flexors right in here as well. And so hopefully you're getting that 2. Oh yeah, this side especially. My T-band, my hip flexors. Really nice. That feels really good. All right, we're gonna come flatten out your toes. You're gonna come down into a child's pose. Go with your head to the ground, your arms behind you. And then when you're ready, rise up, swing your arms overhead, and arch back slightly, and then swing back down. Lower your bottom towards your heels, child's pose, forehead on the ground, and reach your fingertips out behind you. And then sweep up tall again, arch back slightly, and release into your child's pose. If you'd like to focus on your breath and breathe. I'm just trying to breathe through this because this is definitely messing with my nose. Okay, into tabletop. You're going to take your right arm, take it by your ear, and open up your chest. Roll your shoulder back. And then you're going to release it and take it in the opposite direction, almost like underneath your armpit. We're rotating through our spine with a bent elbow, or you have an option to straighten your arm and then come back to your bent elbow. Okay? You're on all fours. Knees are under your hips. Toes are curled under. A spinal rotation here and a tabletop position. So again, take your time, opening and closing. If you want to move faster than me, go ahead. And get even more open. Go ahead. Switch back to tabletop. Find your neutral position with both hands on the ground and both knees on the ground, and then lift up your other arm. And we're going to do the same thing other side. I'm just kind of threading my elbow through. And then opening up my elbow to the ceiling. You could, like I said, open up straight arm. Then bend it. Reach on through. I'm going to try to get a little deeper here. By just bending my opposite arm and allowing my body to come down a little bit. With spinal rotation, you have a tight back, and my tight hips, this helps. We're going to come to tabletop position next. Both hands on the floor, right underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. We've got cat-cow. Round out your spine, tuck your chin, tuck your tailbone. Go to neutral, release, and move in the other direction where your tailbone now lifts to the sky and your chin lifts to the sky. And go ahead and flow through that. It's your own pace. So this is all about our mobility here. We're basically being very active through our shoulders, our spine. Okay, whenever I think about mobility, I always think about joints and bones, right? We want to make sure that we're warming up from our skeletal system first. That's kind of what I think about with mobility. Getting that activated, getting the synovial fluids in our joints. And working on things like this, okay? All right, we've got a low lunge twist, so you can keep one knee on the ground, or you can put your toe back. I'm just gonna keep a knee down, and we're gonna do a twist. And switch into the other side. This can definitely be a kneeling position. It doesn't have to be plank to low lunge. We're kneeling, we've been kneeling, might as well keep it kneeling. again, just moving at your own pace here. We are alternating sides. Hopefully you already saw that. Hopefully you saw we're alternating. All right, we're gonna come into a nice little low frog squat, which isn't always comfortable on your knees, so if you need to come up higher, come up higher. And we're just gonna kind of rock side to side. Okay, good. You need to come up a little bit higher. You can always kind of rock a little bit. This. Okay. Hands on your thighs, never your knees. Kind of rock through your hips, rock through your knees, your ankles. Okay. Oh, a little stretch right there. There we go. We're going to sit down in this last part of what's considered our warm-up, our mobility section. We're going to sit down. And then as we move into stability, we are going to be working a little bit our core. Okay, so it's the stability from a seated position. Let's go ahead and sit down. We've got swivel hips. So we've done this before, where we're just in kind of like a seated position. We rock our hips from side to side. You can come up a little bit higher. You can come back a little further. It's up to you, okay? Almost like a wide straddle position with your legs and knees bent. Just rock from side to side and your sit bones. Feels like such like a kid thing to do when they're sitting and watching TV. Do you ever see kids just sit like this? And they switch and they go on the other side? That natural movement that we forget as we get older. Kids do it all the time. They crawl on the floor, right? They're very primal, and we always forget as we get older. Stop and do that kind of movement. So we're going to stop ourselves today and do that here. Okay, so we've got a straddle next. It doesn't have to be anything very wide, just maybe about hip width or wider. And we're going to take our arms out to the side, and we're just going to reach towards the opposite toe, reach towards the opposite toe. That's it, and we're moving at your own pace. If you want to stay here a little bit longer and get a stretch in the straddle position, you're welcome to. And if you'd like to keep moving and flowing through it, you can move and flow through it. So T, and then lead forward with your chest and your nose as you reach. So you want to think about lateral and then forward movement here, okay? Reaching wall to wall, and forward movement, nose going towards your toes, chest going towards your knee. All right, and here's our balance pose. I'd say this is one of the bigger ones of the day. An L sit. How often do we stack our shoulders over our hips, sitting on the ground with our arms raised up? Draw your belly button in tight, reach to the sky. Activate your core, your abdominals. Draw your shoulders out and away from your ears. You do this in mountain. Do this in warrior one. Rarely do it from a seated position. So we're going to do this L sit today. And start noticing what muscles are firing up right now to hold you in place. I'm starting to feel a little bit warm and a little bit shaky because my body's trying to hold me in a specific place. I can feel my sit bones rooted in the ground. I can feel my hip bones starting to, they're trying to fire up, and I'm trying to draw my abdominals in instead. So interesting what you feel once you're here. We're going to go ahead and release, lower all the way down, reach your arms overhead, and then tuck your chin, reach to the ceiling. You're going to need to reach a little bit, and then reach to the wall in a C curve, and come back down in reverse. So we are going to do, we call this a C curve. You're curving your chin to your chest, lifting with your abdominals, reaching forward like you're making the letter C. And then uncurling yourself again, okay? Right there is where your abdominals have to come into play. And if it's a struggle for you, don't come all the way up, okay? Just come as far, as high as you can. But try to pull past that spot in your abs, okay? Go ahead and hang tight here for a second. We're gonna do a V-sit. We're gonna bend the knees. We're gonna reach our hands, palms to the ceiling. Sit back like you're making the shape of a V. When you're ready, hover your heels. So essentially we're in a boat pose, or a V, right, a V-sit, and you can extend to a boat pose if you choose, okay? So those are your options right here. We're just gonna hold. And you can hover your feet a little bit lower to the ground if you need to. Maybe tap one at a time if you're losing balance, or tap both, and then rise back up if you're losing balance. Otherwise, draw your belly button in towards your spine, proud chest lifted, palms to the ceiling. And again, if you'd like to, you can come into your full boat position, balancing, or again, the stability of our sit bones here, okay? Hardest move for some of us today. Fingertips are gonna face the butt. Your hands are gonna be directly over your wrists. You're gonna dig your heels into the floor and lift your hips up into a reverse plank. So a reverse tabletop is an option if you cannot get to the plank yet. Another option would be to release one leg and then the other, okay? Reverse plank is exactly what it sounds like, a plank position, but we're in reverse. The other option is to lower down, rest, and lift. So I give you plenty of ideas that you can do. So my biggest problem here is trying to keep my toes forward. I want to roll out like this. So it's got to challenge my legs to stay forward. We're not done yet. I'm just taking my break and I'm coming back into it. Starting to feel really warm. Okay, side plank. Let's come to our right elbow. This can be on your knee. It can be on your toe. You have to be the judge for 1 minute. What can you hold? We're at 45 seconds now. What can you hold for these 45 seconds? If you have your feet split, your top leg is your front leg. If you have them stacked, obviously they're stacked, okay? Lift your hip off the ground. That's the whole goal, is to now we're balancing on an elbow and a foot. That's where that stability comes into play. We're going to come to a low elbow plank next. All right, so elbow plank, we have toe taps. So it's just like what it sounds like. You can either start on your knees and on your elbows. Then you're going to take a toe tap, or you can be on your toes and your elbows, and you're going to tap together. Tap together. Keep going. I have no pacing for you. The amount of times that you tap or the length of time that you hold is up to you. So you decide, okay? I'm not going to tell you tap 10 times or anything like that. That's on you, okay? If you want to tap quick, if you want to tap slow, I would suggest slow, controlled, pause in between each movement, okay? Keep going, keep going. I can't see my clock. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Let's switch and do plank on the other side. So it is a knee plank, elbow, or you're on your toes or the sides of your feet. Okay. You're on your feet, or you're on your feet. Okay. Everything's starting to feel a little bit warmer than when we first started. As soon as you start activating your core, the heat comes So we've got our side plank here, 2 more positions, and then we will head into our flexibility portion of class, okay? We're doing great. A minute of plank work is challenging, so good job. Please notice that within yourself and give yourself credit for the work that you are doing and the effort you're putting into class today. Lower down, you can come to all fours, and we've got shoulder taps. That's where we start. Once you've got that down and you're ready for a little bit more of a challenge, you come into your tabletop with lifted knees. I call this a bear position. Your knees hover. Tap your shoulder, but nothing rocks. That's the goal, is to not rock your body. It's trying to keep your hips squared off, directly over your knees, your hands directly over your shoulders, your back flat, your butt down, and trying not to rock from side to side. Just tap and then down. If you feel like you're rocking too much, come here to your knees, get your mind right, get your body position right, and then try it again. Coming back down to all fours. So knees can come to the ground. Breathe a little bit, right? Did your breathing go up a little bit? Okay. Take your opposite arm, opposite leg. So your right leg, left arm, reach, bird dog, hold. We're not moving, we're holding. Squeeze your glutes, squeeze your shoulder blade. Core tight, so draw your belly button in towards your spine as you're holding your balance here. Straighten out your arm that's on the ground. Push the palm of your hand into the floor and then switch sides. Reach long with your fingertips wall to wall. This seems like it should be simple, and it's not. I can tell you right now, I'm breathing heavy, challenging me. It definitely adds up after the sequencing of work we just did, okay? So push your palm, straighten out your elbow, reach wall to wall, your hip faces the ground, and release to all fours. You can sit back on your heels, come to child's pose. We're gonna work on our inner thighs and our hips a little bit as we stretch right now, okay, our legs. So we're gonna come out to an adductor stretch, which just means we're gonna extend one leg out to the side as we're on our other knee. So if you wanna put something on your knee, go ahead. So I'm gonna walk my foot out a little bit further. Then I'm gonna take this leg that's out, take that arm, thread the needle, okay? So we've done child's pose, thread the needle. Today I'm gonna have you do your leg extended and thread the needle. Pretty cool, huh? Come back up. And we're going to take the opposite hand now and come into an angle, okay? So we threaded the needle, now we're taking the other arm and we're reaching it towards the same direction as our leg is extended. This is the way you want to go. If you go the other way, how does that feel? You can do that way too. Either way, I think both ways work. Oh, switch legs. I forget what my instructions were, to be quite honest, with which angle we go. All right, go ahead and thread the needle. We have now the opposite leg. Out to the side, you did switch sides. Feels amazing. I like this one. All right, so let's even out. Let's go angled child's, or it's not an angled child's pose. It would normally be an angled child's pose. We're in an angled adductor stretch. So try one side, see how that feels, and then try the other. Which way do you like better? So I think both feel pretty good. I think it's supposed to be this way though. This is a more challenging way, so I'm going to leave it at this side. All right, right leg's going to come forward. We're going to have one knee down, one knee up. We're going to rock forward, come back to neutral, twist. Rock forward, come back to neutral. If you want to do this a few times, Kind of rock through your hips. And then take your rotation from a neutral position, use your thigh, and rotate. You can release and rotate again. Okay, so rock forward, tall, rotate, or rock forward, rock forward, back, hold your rotation. You find your pacing and your pattern, it's up to you, okay? The whole goal is just to rock through your hips and to rotate. Nice and tall through your spine. And then we're coming into a runner's lunge. On this runner's lunge, you can keep your knee bent. Okay? You can hold this position if you want to add twists or a wrap. You get a hip opener. Go for it. Okay? Otherwise, it's just a low runner's lunge here. Option would be to lean forward a little bit if you'd like. So I'm giving you lots and lots of options. You can twist. You can twist, that's up to you. You can wrap, okay, or you can just hold. There's nothing wrong with just holding. That's really nice to do. Stretches feel really great after the work that we did today already. For those of you who track on your watches, I track this as yoga, so if you need to either track it later or click it now so you remember to add on another 20 minutes to this later, go for it. All right, we're coming into pigeon, so drop your front leg. I'm sorry, we're going in 90-90, not just pigeon. 90-90, okay, so drop your front leg, your right leg, and then your back leg. And we're gonna fold forward, towards your shin. And then you can turn the other direction and lay down too, okay? So again, working through the hips and the spine. Take a spot, whether it's forward or to the side. You can either flow through the two positions or just hold like I am, okay? I held about 15 seconds of each. All right, we're ready to go on to the other side. So we have to get to the hip flexor on the other side. So your back leg should be the leg you didn't do yet. Take that one forward. And let's rock and roll. Forward and back and rotate. And if you want to rock forward and back a little bit more, do that. Then add your rotation. Find your balance here. All right, so I'm never sure when I get started in my head, it's like this, is it gonna feel better or not? It feels a little bit better. I feel less dizzy. I think most of what it is was sometimes I take that, whenever I take that nighttime medicine, it leaves me really groggy, lightheaded, and foggy in the morning. And I think it's a matter of working that out of my system. So hopefully that's what I'm doing right now. Sometimes I hesitate to take anything because I just don't like the way it makes me feel, so. But it also sometimes helps the symptoms, so it's like the trade-off, right? Coming into your low runner's lunge, so hands to the floor, and wrap it, open up your hip. You can come further forward in your lunge, get your hip flexor opened up. You can also do your twists, rotations. Okay? At any rate, this helps move things along. I'm getting ready to blow my nose when we're done with this. We've got a couple more moves to go. Play around in your lunge. Use this to open up your hips, lengthen out your quads. Kind of drop down into our 90-90 next. So your front leg stays front, bends at 90 degrees, back leg bends at 90, and then we're going to fold forward. Then when you're ready, you can fold to the side. feel this through my lower back and my obliques down to a little, like kind of like your sciatic, right back there. It opens and stretches that out. That feels really good. Okay. Keep moving through it or find a pattern that works for you. I'm doing again 15 seconds in one hold, 15 seconds in another hold. 2 more movements to go. I want to thank you for joining me today for this. Hopefully you feel amazing. This usually is the class that does that for you. Makes you feel amazing. We're going to come into a nice tall butterfly. You're going to round and release out and then roll back. It's a butterfly, and you can even keep your hands on your shins, or if you're holding your feet, I'm going to keep mine kind of on my shins and support myself as I roll back. Okay, a little rock and roll and butterfly. And if the roll doesn't feel good, stick with just the butterfly, okay? Again, this is one of those like baby poses, right? Little kids are always like, wee! You see them do it. As we become adults, it's like, oh no. But we're doing it today right there like that. Okay, so I'm just gonna hold butterfly to the end here. We've got 3 more seconds. Straighten out your legs. Keep them bent, lay down straight through your spine. And we're gonna go ahead and spinal twist from center and do the other side. So your knees are now rocking from side to side, and you're letting the weight of your legs open up your spine. So just a little spinal twist. That's it, okay? This is it. This is what we're doing. Do you feel a little bit more mobile? Do you feel like when you stand up, your hips aren't going to feel as tight, your shoulders aren't going to feel as tight, your chest isn't going to feel as tight? Hamstrings, your obliques, things aren't going to feel as tight when you stand up. Do you feel like that? Definitely feel like that. Hopefully you are too. Again, there's so much value in coming to this class, so I'm proud of you for showing up. I have found that since incorporating just this once a week, my quality of life, I swear, I promise, is like better, okay? Go ahead and just lay there. And what I mean by that is I have less aches, less pains, less tightness just by adding this in once a week. Doing extra stretching is always good too, but focusing a whole 30 minutes on just this has been helping me immensely. So let's go ahead and take a nice big inhale. Exhale. Thank you again for showing up today. You can either finish laying here or you can rock yourself up to sit. I will see you back here tomorrow, fingers crossed, for Get Pumped, the new lesson. Worst case, I'm putting out a replay for you, okay? I'm hoping that taking today and resting and just making sure that I'm taking care of me and get me in a better place for tomorrow, but I can't make promises, right? Like, we don't know what this all brings. It's been a while, like I said, since I've been sick. Like, I mean, we're talking at least a year, if not 2 or more. So when this hit me, and it stinks. So have a good day. I'm gonna go rest up. I hope that I can be back here tomorrow. Please understand if I do happen to pop up the replay, but fingers crossed. Okay, have a good day, and I will see you back here tomorrow.